here. I call the meeting to order at this time. Welcome, everyone. And John, would you open us in a word of prayer?
Well, thank you, Jim. If we bow our heads, please. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you that we're able to gather here this evening on a beautiful, beautiful night. We thank you for the wonderful weekend. And we want to thank you for all the good people here at Georgetown Township that serve the public and do an outstanding job. And as always, especially for our first responders and people who put their lives on the line every day, we pray that you're with them. We thank you, Lord, for school starting and the kids getting back and just a new routine for all of us. But we especially pray for your wisdom tonight and your discernment, and please be with and guide us all. Thank you for this opportunity. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
John, if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can't blame the public for not showing up tonight in this kind of weather in September. I appreciate that all are present here tonight. We've got a quorum. Item 5 on our agenda, is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Anyone have any comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Item number 6, communication letters and reports received for the board's information. Item 7 then, we're going to open up to public comment at this time on any of the items remaining on our agenda this evening. We're talking about any number of things, budget and some other purchases. Does anyone wish to address those items to the board tonight? Okay. I'm quick to remind, I think most of you know this, but we'll have another public comment period here shortly toward the end of the meeting. You're welcome to address us on any subject you like at that time. So with that, we'll close the initial public comment period. Item 8, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Item number 9, a columbarium purchase from Services Committee. Is there a motion to approve this purchase?
So moved.
Support. All right, discussion, concerns, questions?
These ones will match the columbaria that we currently have at the cemetery and just help us account for some additional growth in the future. So
That will be a total of how many at this point?
1, 2, 3,
6?
yeah.
But
This
6?
will bring us to 8.
8, okay.
Yeah.
And this has been incredibly popular. A lot of people are going this route.
They're dying to go this route, John.
They're dying to get in there.
Now, Amy has suggested the possibility of putting a flag permanently there, so we're looking at that possibility along with what's involved in wiring, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because if they're individual graves, sometimes you want to mark a grave, yeah. Okay.
We had a resident that requested it, and she had a very passionate letter that she sent us.
So,
It's going to sound stupid, but I assume it's one per compartment, if you will. Seems like they would fill up like that. I mean, we're buying them in onesie-twosies, but I'm guessing it's becoming more common.
and it's becoming a lot more popular, I think.
It's like they would fill up super fast.
Jim,
Okay.
Amber has some expertise in this area.
Those 2 positions in each nation. There can be, there's not necessarily, but one for
Okay.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you.
Could a stranger buy a half of one and then okay, so it's husband and wife or something. All right.
Eternal rest with a stranger of your choosing.
Okay. Well, any comments? Anyone else? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved and that is purchased. Item 10, fire department pickup truck. Is there a motion to accept the low bid here on that truck? Support. Moved and supported. I know we have, is it Clues? Is that how it's pronounced? Kevin Clues? All right. you're here tonight, and you can speak to anything having to do with the fire station and purchases, but I'm just making the board aware of that. If you have questions or comments for Captain, you can ask those. Otherwise, among the board, is there discussion, debate?
It came through services, and I believe that we're keeping one truck, but one of them is 2003, and that's the one that we're getting rid of, so that we can have a new one.
Getting a new one, doing a hand-me-down.
Yes.
And then who we're handing it down to is going to be selling a 2003 Silverado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, hearing no further comment, all in favor of this motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, it's passed. Item number 11, formal jackets for the fire department. Again, I think an update of an older set. Motion to approve tonight?
So moved.
And support.
Moved and supported. Any comments?
The idea behind these was to give our fire department some things to wear for like the Memorial Day service, for funerals, for things like that that are not appropriate for them to wear their like turnout gear, but where they need a little extra warmth versus what their uniforms provide. And so this was the jacket that they chose. It's nice and warm and has lots of sizing options so that everyone can have a jacket that is going to make them look sharp and represent the township well.
The chief was adamant in saying that they needed something warm so that they would, not freeze while they're standing outside, and they liked this look and that it was roomy, so it should last for quite a while.
So does NI provide any badges, name badges, and things of that nature? Yeah.
That would
Okay.
be all embroidered. Okay.
And that's part of the cost here? Or that's some, yeah.
Do these remain the property of the township then? So like guys moving out of the fire department, do they keep these uniforms or do we retain them?
My understanding was that it would be consistent with all other uniform sorts of guidelines, but I didn't dig into the specifics of that.
Return? What's that?
Retained by us, right, Captain?
Right. Yeah, okay. I was just curious.
Good question.
And they're replacing a set that we currently have, is that? Okay. I see.
The existing ones are more of like a formal dress jacket, almost like a sports coat, right?
Everybody will have the same.
Evidently, at the parade, there was some concerns, and I think that's when the request, or there was some concerns with the parade, and that was one of the reasons they took these steps. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would hope we don't need those at a Memorial Day again for a long time. It's going to have to be other months.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions, concerns? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That is passed. Item number 12, a water heater for Fire Station 1. Again, came out of services. Is there a motion to approve this request?
So moved.
Support.
Support.
Okay, I'll be replacing the water heater there. Board members have any?
They have no hot water, so they kind of need it, especially with winter coming, and washing your hands and everything else. you kind of need hot water, so it's something that we really have to do.
I believe it was original with the building, and so it just has gotten to the point where the parts are obsolete.
Can't repair it anymore, gotta replace, right?
Yep.
They've been out of hot water for a while too.
Yes.
There was some efforts to repair it and then
Yeah.
couldn't, so.
I appreciate how much lower this bid was than the other two.
Mhm.
That level of disparity, it seems unusual. Is there any reason we should be concerned about the quality of what we're getting, or? No.
We asked if we needed to worry about that or how they felt about this company in particular, and Chief DeWitt shared with us that he was very comfortable with that. So.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, hearing no one else, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is passed. Thank you, Captain Clues. Item 13, this is item to tentatively adopt the 2025 budget and schedule a public hearing. Is there a motion to approve the resolution with a tentative budget and to tentatively adopt the 2025 budget and schedule at a public hearing for September 23?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. All right, we've had these numbers now presented to us at least a couple of different times. Hopefully you've availed yourself of the opportunity to investigate concerns or questions. As Rob likes to say and said at the last meeting, everything is subject to potential amendment, and that you, I think, overestimate generally to be conservative on the expenses, and we tend to underestimate on the revenue to, again, be conservative. So, have at it. Anyone wish to bring up any items related to this tentative budget? Okay. Hearing none. Now this would be a matter of approving the resolution to tentatively adopt and then setting that public hearing date. I don't know that this has to be taken as a roll call, or does it, Ryan? Do you know?
I would assume because it's a resolution it does.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Supervisor?
Yes.
Treasurer?
Yes.
Mr. Velding?
Yes.
Ms. Graffman?
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. Item 14, township millage rate discussion. You might recall, as it indicates in your agenda, that this was taken up this past summer and that there was a tabling of the issue until today's meeting. So first of all, is there a motion to take this from the table? That motion that was made back in June 10 of 2024 to decrease the millage rate from 2.25 mils to 2 mils, effective with the new year 2025.
I'd make that motion.
Support. Okay, so it's back on the table now and back before the board for discussion. I'll speak at once here.
I believe I stated my piece on this one many times. So I think we overtax our residents. I think obviously water does not factor into it. The rates increase because that goes into a different pool. But I think we definitely overtax them, and that was. I know you guys don't want to take that survey in account, but that was the number one item on it. So, sweet.
I'm just wondering, and again, I'm newer than all of you, but with 3 board members leaving in November and 3 new ones coming, is it something we should table or put off till November? Or is that not something that you do? You can't do that.
Millage rate by the end of September.
Okay.
Yep.
That's why I'm asking, because I'm not sure, wasn't
that's
sure.
Right.
No.
That's right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Any other thoughts, Amy? Okay.
No.
Jim, I would say one of my goals was for us to drop it. And I'd mentioned that. I think we still can. I agree, particularly with Gary, when he talks about the expenses we have coming up that are going to be formidable. And here we've got a new president, one way or the other, and it looks a little scary. But could it be reduced? Has the board done this for a few years and then gone back? And I think with the COVID money that we had and have spent, it has helped us to save. So I wanted us to look at lowering it, and I would still support that. But I respect all of your views, and I understand.
I disagree. And I disagree because I think that the surplus is looked at as almost like it was put there the last couple of years. The surplus has taken many, many years to get where it is. It's much like your 401k or IRA. You spent 30-some years accumulating that, and then you say to yourself, well, you just got all this money. Well, you didn't. It takes time. The money that was put in there was started already 10, 11, 12, 14 years ago. And so that money accumulates. And I also think that the revenue side is going to go down in the next year because I don't think we're going to be doing as many building permits. We've already seen it come down this year. Permits are down. And houses are not being sold. Those that have a low interest rate are not selling. Those that have no mortgage are not selling because they want to recap their property taxes. And there's not as many new homes being sold because interest rates are high. And our monies come from home sales. That's really what we have in Georgetown Township. We're a bedroom community, and it's worked for us. It's worked well. We're not an industrial community. We don't get a lot of money from industry or from businesses. We have a few, but we're not set up like a Gaines Township who has a lot of commercial property out there. So I personally don't think that you can lower interest, lower the rate. We have been blessed the last 3 years. We've been able to use ARPA money, which has artificially inflated the money we have. We've also been able to invest money and able to make over $1 million in interest. If interest rates drop, which they say they will, that money will not be coming in. I think you look at the big picture, I'm not sure that dropping $250,000 is really worth doing at this time. There's too many unknowns out there, and we have a very good bond rating because we do have excess funds. We do have a balanced budget, and to low it $250,000, you're looking at maybe $40 or $50 a household. I just don't think it's worth taking the risk for that because you admit, John, this only lasts for a couple of years. You're probably looking at raising taxes. And somebody's going to have to do that then. And I'm like, I just don't see it. We're the lowest tax base in the state, basically. We've done a good job. We're the same size as Kentwood. And I just don't see lowering the taxes. And I personally don't think the residents get excited about it here because they vote for millages all the time. And they continue to raise their own property taxes. Our property tax bill is not going to the township. Our property taxes go to public schools. 80%. So, that's my opinion.
Jerry, I don't disagree, but my feeling is we received about $5 million. I think it's going to run us between $600,000 and $700,000 per year. It's not a huge amount of money. It's only about $35, $40 per household. How can we help those people directly benefit from that? We could cut their taxes. Would it be permanent? A future board would have to decide. I would say probably not, and I am very worried about our future. We're sitting in an incredibly strong situation right now. I don't disagree. I respectfully, it's a different point of view.
I feel really strongly that as a member of the community, one of the ways that we support everybody else in our community, of course, is through our property taxes. And I feel like the amount that it's going to save the average Jenison family, the average Georgetown family, is essentially equivalent to taking my family of 5 out to eat once. But that money from my family mixed with that money from all of the other households in the community really makes a tremendous difference and puts us on a solid financial footing, so that when our DPW building, or when our DPW department needs a new building, or like when we needed our new library, or any of the other things listed in our budget for the coming year, big, water infrastructure pieces that are coming in the future. I want to be able to walk away from my 8 years on this township board and say, I am proud that I left my community better than I found it. And I think that setting this millage rate is a piece of that because we have lowered it. We've lowered it over the last 2 terms that I've been on the board. And if we lower it more and then turn around and the next board has to raise it, I don't want that for our residents, right? We're kind of comfortable where we're at, and it's one meal out to dinner for my family of 5, but if I can contribute that to our community so that if we have a fire engine that needs repair, or if our fire department needs new uniform jackets, or if we need to replace a water line or something like that, I feel strongly that's doing our part. And I would rather be doing our part. I would rather have that collective responsibility that we're all paying in maybe a little more than we need to be, although I think that it is categorically false that we overtax our residents. But I think that we all pitch in so that when big projects have to happen, our board, who we elect and who we trust, has the money to make those expenditures as needed. And so I fully respect the different opinions, and I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate that we tabled this until now so that we could have a thoughtful conversation. But I am not at all in favor of a very small decrease, which would be very little money back in anyone's pockets, but could potentially become burdensome to our community as a whole long term. I've used that analogy before, that to each one of us, it's like one bucket of sand. But if we all dump our buckets of sand together, then we have this beautiful beach, right? And I want to leave the township in a better position than I found it. And I think that making sure that the next board has the money to do the things that are going to need to be done in the next 4 years, especially with uncertainty about which way the presidential election is going to go, and then 2 years later who our new governor will be, in all of those pieces. I just think it would be irresponsible to lower it right now and then likely have to turn around and raise it again in a couple of years.
Okay, anyone else?
I like your sand analogy.
Thank you.
With the bucket and the sand. That makes sense. And it's like $40, right? $30, $40 per household? Okay.
I mean, the bigger and more expensive your house is, certainly the more.
And of course we all want lower taxes. Of course. Who doesn't? Yes.
We also want to know that when we turn on our faucets, we're going to have clean drinking water, and we want to know that when we flush, we're not going to have to see that stuff again, and that if there's a fire, that our fire department is able to show up quickly for us, and all of those things that those taxpayer dollars go to. It's not like we're frivolously spending it. We're spending it to take care of the needs of a great community.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to go last? I probably won't add much. I'm just going to say, we are overtaxing our residents without a doubt. I've talked about it since 2016. And the proof is, and kind of like the sand analogy, we can't compare ourselves with other townships, cities, or villages. We're unique here. We have a lot of people putting in just a little bit into that jar, and it fills up quick. I always look at Blendon. That's a different story, where 5,000 people, they have to dig deep in their pockets and pull out handfuls
just to get anything accomplished. We're in a unique situation. Without a doubt, 100%, we overtaxed our residents, and it continues. And how is that possible? I know Gary talked about, running out of money, and it's all these savings of previous boards. Well, actually, we spent $12 million cash for a library. That was not that long ago. We spent $3.5 million for a senior center. That wasn't that long ago. We spent $6.5 million for an ice arena. That wasn't that long ago. Kmart, we got some of that back, so I think that was only a loss of, I think we lost $1.5 million taxpayer dollars on that deal. The Veterans Plaza corner, 200 Baldwin, I believe we spent about $900,000 taxpayer money acquiring properties. And we got some of that back, so that one's good. I think that was a break even. But it just shows, and here we are again, we spent a lot, $12 million for that library. And again, we're at what, $13 million now? And we can't talk about be able to flush the toilet and all that. That's a separate department. And they've got a lot of money too. And with this new 35 and 37% increase, they've got a lot of money coming. So we are definitely in a position to lower it. And we're making too much money. It's plain and simple. Every time somebody sells an older house, it's untapped. We get money from that. New builds, we're still cutting big checks to PCI. So people are building, and that means more money. So I think absolutely, and it's $250,000. And you say, well, it's $30, $40, $50. I talked to a number of people but it's my $40. They want it, and with that too, is if $40 isn't a lot to somebody, they're more than welcome to get out their checkbook, and that's a minimum when you get that tax bill. Feel free to tack on a couple extra $100 or $500. Takes a village, right? So if everybody chips in because it's so important to them, absolutely. But let's give those people a choice, because a lot of people don't have a choice with the increase in water and sewer, because that minimum went up. What, $61.50 minimum ready to serve? Now it's jumped up to what, $92, $93? They don't have a choice. So for them, that $40, that's something. That's something. So I think it's well past time to reduce it. It's just $250,000. So it translates into about $500,000. So historically, we make $1.5 to $3 million every year off our taxpayers in surplus. We've got a lot of money.
Okay, for my part, I guess I'll adopt Gary and Becky's comments for the most part, as well as what I shared in June. Ryan said, I think I spoke my piece back then, so nothing new to add. Does anyone else wish to speak, or have you all been heard? Yeah? All right, then we'll do a roll call vote on this.
This is to lower it from 2.25 to 2.0. No. Mrs. Grassman?
No.
Mr. Baldwin?
No.
Treasurer?
Yes.
Supervisor?
No.
Clerk is a yes. Ms. Steele?
No.
Ms. Schwam?
Yes.
It is 4-3, turned down.
Okay. Appreciate everyone's points of view. Thank you. Item 15, second public comment period. The opportunity for anyone who's come this evening wishes to address the board on any topic. Please feel free to come forward and share what's on your mind. Mr. McCloskey.
My name is McCloskey, and I'm at 3540 Baldwin. I'd like to know why my water bills got so high. I've cut my water down almost 50%. Went from 8,000 gallons of water in 3 months down to 4. And my bill went up higher. Don't understand that. Anybody can address why it's gone up?
You've spoken to us often enough to know that we give you the floor when it's your opportunity. So you still have the floor.
Yeah, well, that's just one item. I've got lots of others too, but being my house is down there on Baldwin, it's 144 years old. I'm going to spend $7,000 on painting, keeping it up, keeping it look nice. That's got painters starting now, and you know, I just don't have, as a retired person, I don't have a lot of money. But yet I'm going to work it out that I can get my porch all repainted and everything, and keep it from decaying, and you know, the windows and all that stuff. And it was costing me about $7,000. It ain't cheap, just for painting. So that's another thing I've got to do. I don't have to, but I don't want it to deteriorate. Because the house is 144 years old. It's one of the oldest houses in Georgetown. I think, according to Jill, it's either between 3 and 5 houses in the whole township that's that old. And I think it'd be nice if I could keep it up. So I'm always looking for money, too, to cut my costs. Water bill would be fine. Taxes would be fine. I live on retirement money. Okay. That's my 2 cents worth tonight.
Thank you.
Anyone else? And seeing none, we'll close the second public comment period. Item 16, discussion and general information among the board. Any board members have anything they'd like to raise or discuss or point out or share with us?
I could say I just obviously paid my water and sewer bill, and I looked back at last year at this time to see what the difference was, and it was $18 more this year. And to me, that didn't seem terrible, just because everything's gone up, from gas and food and housing. Just so, I mean, a lot of people talk about, you know, that going up, and there is a lot of maintenance on homes. I've had to do that too. Yeah, so I understand Mr. McCloskey's concerns.
And we're at the mercy of Wyoming. They raise water rates, we have to raise water rates, and for a lot of years we did not raise them enough, and we were paying more for water than what we were getting. So there was a discrepancy there for a couple of years. It needed to be raised, and again raised since 2017. There was no raises. So the problem is Wyoming raised the water rate because they've also got a huge transmission line that's going to be done in 3 phases from Lake Michigan. The first phase is coming in the next year or so, and that's going to be bonded, and we'll be responsible for part of that bond, which will come out to about $32 a household. And then we're at their mercy. And there's also several $1 million in upgrades coming to the Granville Sewage Treatment Plant, of which we are a partner along with Ottawa County, and we will have to help out for those upgrades. And so that's the cost of doing business. There's no money being made other than what's being needed to continue to take care of our own infrastructure too, with that new water line, which is going to suck up a lot of the money we have.
I believe it went up 3% per year since 2017, and we absorbed that.
Yeah.
And then it hit this, where we were looking at an incredible increase, and so action had to be made.
Well, there's increase that has come since the increase of last year that you're alluding to. I think, if I saw the letters correctly, it's probably a couple months back, it's 16% with Granville perhaps, and a higher percentage with Wyoming. What is it?
Sewer, water, 26% plus. We still haven't figured out the third transmission line and how that bonding will work out, but that's just next year.
And we've always been fair with our ready-to-serve costs. A lot of townships are a lot higher than us. So what they do is, in ready-to-serve is you pay so much on your water bill and then the usage. Our ready-to-serve has been cheaper, and then we just pay for the usage. So There's some people that do different formulas. I think our formula is very fair.
Wyoming is actually cheaper.
What's that?
Wyoming is cheaper rate of service.
Wyoming owns the water line, so they can do things that we can't. But if you go to Park, Howland Township, all those that are buying water, their ready to service higher than ours. And they're buying from Wyoming too.
Yep. I was on the board in 2017, and we talked about raising it incrementally each year. And Dan Carlton said we make so much money, we don't need to. But I could have sworn back then we said just slight increases every year, just so it wouldn't be such a shocker. But the fact is we make money. It's on the audits every year too. So next year we'll see the audit, and the year after we'll see the audit. So we'll see how it shakes out.
You have to make money though, Mike, when you need $19 million to replace a water line down 48th Avenue. That money does not show up just out of the air. That money is raised by the money that we charge for water and sewer, so that we have the funds to be able to keep up with our infrastructure. When we spend $300,000-$400,000 fixing sewer pipes that are degraded after 50 years, we have that money to do that. That's part of the whole system. You can't charge for just the water and sewer exactly and not have any money to maintain the infrastructure you have in the ground. That's why that money is there. Because water and sewer run separate from township. It's its own entity. So we need to take care of, make sure that there's money there for infrastructure. That's the way it's set up.
And I guess that's where we differ, because you say we need the 48th water, but do we? Would it behoove us to maybe wait 5 years till we're closer to that point of maybe needing, or 6 years, 7 years?
For what?
Because it's going to be cheaper.
What's going to be cheaper?
To have the work done. Right now, I don't know if you understand how ARPA works, but every township and every city around this country is trying to spend their ARPA money. That's why we're paying a premium for everything. Fire trucks, because everybody's trying to spend their ARPA money. So if we ride it out and wait, we could get to a point where it's going to be cheaper. We're already seeing it with what's going to be $1.5 to $2 million DPW building is now jumped to $4 million, and now 4.3, 4.5. I guarantee it'll be $5 million before it's all said and done. But that actually came down. The price of steel has come down.
Mm-hmm.
Lakewood Construction said it. And that's just it. When you have a number of people all trying to blow that ARPA money as soon as they can, you're competing with them, and they're naming the prices they want. That fire truck, if we wait for that aerial for another 4 years, we get it cheaper. Guaranteed.
But you won't have the money, because the ARPA money had to be spent in the first 4 quarters.
We spent the ARPA money already.
But it had to be spent.
We spent it 3 times over. We keep spending every budget.
Spent, though. The money that we got from ARPA had to be spent.
And we did.
It had a deadline on it.
Yep, and we did. We spent it all, but it'll keep popping up as ARPA funds, but we spent it all.
Yeah. So you'd rather we didn't Would you rather we didn't take it?
No, we already took it. We already spent it.
But we had to spend it because you had to spend that within a certain time frame.
We did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember roads?
Yeah.
Yep. So we've spent over the 5.5 million ARPA already. So the point is, we are not to a point of critical mass where we have to put in 48. What didn't help is the water sewer agreement, which Blendon could start developing, and they could really start hammering down on available water to us. That could really affect it, and that's something we should have considered because of the agreement is first come, first served. So they could suck off all the water. If they put in another, whatever the development, Coochie development, put another one of those multi-units, we're going to have problems. So it's that short-sightedness that always bothers me with the township. It always has. It's like the sky is falling, and it's dealing in fear and scare tactics. Like we got to spend it now. We got to spend it now, but we don't. We should be smart. Like a previous board used to do all the time. It's like no, we're not jumping on this so quick.
I happen to have a meeting this week with a guy that's running the water down 48th Avenue. He has no dog in this fight. And what he told me was, the good thing you're having this water line put in because your pressure is down. You're doing it at the right time. And I thought that was good to hear because he brought it up. I did not. I met him on something else. And he said, yeah, I'm working on that 48th Avenue. You are? He goes, yeah. He says, good thing you're doing it. The water pressure needs to be increased because they can test it as they go along. So that guy seemed to think it was a good idea we're doing it.
The engineer?
What's that?
Engineer?
No, he's one of the contractors on the job site.
So I talked to the main guy at the water treatment plant, and he was saying we're at like, I believe he said 150 or 170 PSI down the two mains coming down Van Buren or whatever it is. We got pressure. And I don't know if the fire captain would know, but talking to our previous fire chief, we've never had to use the pumps. We have to gauge down the pressure. It's too high for the trucks. So we use pumps off of fire hydrant? Because we don't have enough pressure? So,
Board, on more than one occasion, we will not have the water pressure in 5 years. That's why the 40th main is going in. We will not have the pressure in 5 years.
is this a determination from an engineer like Prine and Newhoff?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a little more comfortable. So,
What is
not gonna have enough, we're not gonna have enough, we're not gonna
about Prine. What are you saying about Prine?
So Prine and John, like what their name is, Prine and Newhoff.
Yeah.
So they are engineers.
Yeah.
I mean, they have studies and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
Saying he respects their opinion.
Yes. So it's not like, I feel like we're going to be out of pressure. I don't want feels. I want documented studies. Because that's what we need to run on instead of feels have gotten us into a lot of trouble. And I think, and those kind of things, that's gotten us into trouble.
The nice thing with 48th, I mean, to the extent it's a flashpoint for this discussion, is it was planned based on, understandably, on necessity and not to spend ARPA money. While it may be true that other places are spending ARPA, and that could be driving up, it is driving up to some degree, costs out there. Of course, inflation is a big part of it without regard to that. And it is a big part of inflation, honestly, that the government printed all that money. But we are not personally undertaking that particular project that you guys are speaking to as any sort of either fear or rush to spend money. I think it was in a well thought out, planned in advance type manner for something we need. Just so happens it coincides at a time probably when contractors are able to charge more. And we don't have the luxury to wait, and B, we don't know that 5 years from now that'll be less money. I mean, it's a guess. It's not a certainty.
Well, I think the big factor too, which I said about raising the rates, is like the sky is falling, we're running out of capacity, we're going to have to go odd even watering. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And that's what was the sales pitch for 48. And I said, well, here's the thing. You raise people's water rates 35%. Guess what they're going to do? Use less water. Drive around Georgetown now. Look how many dead lawns there are. People are like, I'm not going to pay. I'm going to let my lawn burn up. Guess what we're using less of? Water. So those two things work with each other and they affect each other. That's why the sky's not falling on that project. We've got time. We can wait it out. Because I don't think that rate's dropping on water and sewer. So we're going to be using less water as a township. We do not have supply issues.
Other points of discussion or comments either on this or any other points?
Jim, I have one. And it's more, I'm confused. It was after the election, there was a group that wanted to check our ballots and wanted access to the room. And I don't understand the motivation on that. I don't believe it had anything to do with Roebuck. I'd like an explanation of what was involved in that. Brian, I believe it was you and Mike?
Yeah, there is a late period where you have to have it certified by the state. So automatically that would be a delay on anything. So it goes to the county first, they certify it, then they send it to the state to certify. Unfortunately, there was a mix-up of what the time frame was on that. So nothing was looked at, nothing was viewed or anything like that. So don't worry about that.
There was 3 people that wanted to have access?
It would be 2 people from the community, correct. They wanted to review, just like 4 years ago, what occurred. So,
but
you're allowed to review it. You're allowed to audit it. Nothing in violation of a law or anything like that.
Justin Roebuck gave an okay on this?
No, because it's within the period of time. Nothing's ever been touched yet.
Okay, so it had not been certified.
It had not been certified. It had
And
been
it's still
certified
a locked room that you,
Everything is still in a locked room. Nothing's been touched.
okay.
So if you're going to go off of something
Well, I don't
that
understand.
you heard,
I don't understand.
fine. I know, and I'm trying to tell you, nothing has been tampered with, nothing's been dealt with, or anything.
Okay, now, from what I heard, it was you and Mike and then someone
it was
from the
me.
Republican Party.
It was me. Mike was not involved in this. I am the one who brought it up to him in the first place, because I had it brought up by two people in the community, constituents,
And they,
and they are following laws as well.
okay, was this a private audit?
Nothing has been audited.
What was going to be checked? Why
It
would
would
you
just be
want
an audit.
after the election?
So you're allowed to look at the ballots after the state has been certified.
But it hasn't been certified yet.
That's why nothing has been touched.
Well, but you want
That's
to
what I'm
get
saying.
into the room before that, and didn't our people have to stop you?
No.
No.
Nobody had to stop me from doing anything. So if you want to continue to make up a story, that's
Well, no,
fine.
I don't know what our staff was upset, and there was a lot of rumors, and so
Exactly,
I said, what
rumors.
happened? Well, you requested to get into a locked room,
Yep.
and
it wasn't, and I verified with Justin Roebuck that is not something that could be done. So there was nothing done. No key was exchanged, no nothing. Everything was followed to the T.
But
Everything I've done is followed to the T.
you contacted the township and said, I'm
I
coming
talked
tomorrow
to
morning,
Rob.
and
No.
I want to get into this room.
I asked about the verification of the keys. Where are the keys located? And that's what and obviously that's what was in existence.
But what would
and
you
then it
do?
was verified with
But
Justin
what would
Roebuck.
you check? Are you looking over ballots? Are you
You can
looking
look
over machines? I don't
Not a machine. It is literally, you can look at the registration and the signatures. You have to wait for it to be verified, to be certified, and then you can look at ballots. I did it 4 years ago to review any anomalies that occurred in certain precincts. It's two individuals in the community that requested it 4 years ago. It's the same individuals that requested it then. Nothing has been tampered with, nothing, none of the locks have been cut, anything like that. I have not entered that room,
Okay.
so don't worry.
But
So don't continue to go off of a rumor.
well, I don't understand it because
Oh, no.
the staff was upset.
Okay,
and
so
did
you can
not
get
understand.
upset about random stuff too sometimes. So I get it. I understand. I will say there was a lot of weird anomalies in that night. There was a gentleman that reached out to me in the middle of the day, not knowing what the procedure was, that he thought police transmit or bring it to the county, which is a gentleman from the county. They bring the drives out there. This individual wanted to follow Amber and or the county person out to the home, or out to the county. I then got the police involved, and they actually tailed it as well. I know this individual is also an ally of you guys, so it was a little weird. Some things were weird going on. And why would he need to follow things going out? So I'm telling you, there was a little bit of anomalies that were a little bit triggering as far as what was going on. Nothing has occurred.
And
Nothing has occurred.
okay, but Roebuck is okay with us.
Roebuck is completely okay with it.
Okay.
It happened 4 years ago. I did it 3 weeks on the job to see if there was any anomalies with the presidential election. We looked, everything was perfectly fine.
Okay.
Okay? Please stop rumors. Rumors are the things that I encountered along the entire path
That's why I'm asking
going to doors.
in public,
Yep.
because
Perfect.
staff was upset.
Okay.
I was informed,
Yep.
and I said, well, this does not make any sense at all. And I was not getting good answers from anyone.
Yep. You could have just talked to me too.
And I said,
You know, you could have
by
contacted me
authority,
directly, right? You could have just called me, right? I know you guys have never called me in the 4 years, but you could have reached out and called me too. And just asked straight from what was happening. Instead of continuously spreading rumors. The whole campaign trail was that way. You guys just spread rumors the whole freaking time.
Was Mike one of those people that was going to go in there with you?
Potentially, but it was not,
Okay, and
nothing
then-
was done. And he was here 4 years
Someone
ago.
from the GOP?
It would have been, yes.
Okay, so you already had, so 3 of you were going to go in there.
Yep. And it,
Not been certified.
and everything was cleared through Justin, and nothing happened.
He knew about it beforehand?
The conversation was to what the access was to the keys. Because the keys are in the safe. That was what my question was. the access to the keys.
Okay, well,
And everything went through Roebuck.
you've got this okay with you?
You can reach out to Roebuck yourself. You could also call me occasionally too, and ask questions instead of continuously spreading crap.
I'm not spreading anything. I'm asking you right
You
here, right now.
constantly just said that there's rumors, and there's different things
Because
that happen.
staff came to me and
Things kept
asked
going
me.
around.
We would say in the legal profession, asked and answered at this point. Is there,
Exactly.
Other-
Why didn't you have to continue?
are there other,
I was going to say, this is the second time he's done this. Is that you use these meetings as your opportunity to question people's
Yeah.
jobs. If you were so, why didn't you run for treasurer? Why didn't you run for me? You know it all. So here's the thing: when ignorance and incompetence gets in the way, rumors and lies get spread around, and unneeded attacks. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
and y'all thought this meeting was going to be boring.
I'm glad this was brought up though.
Is there anything else then?
Well, and I was going to say too, at least now, he's the clerk. He can go in there anytime he wants. He is the clerk. Now, the good news is, this only took, me asking for 5 or 6 years. There's actually a fence now to lock it, because before all we had was open doors with filing cabinets blocking, ensuring the election integrity. So at least we're making steps towards having secure elections here in Georgetown. So, but if you were so concerned about security, where were you 5 years ago? We were on the board together then. Nothing. But you're using this as an opportunity to attack Ryan, the clerk. Something you know nothing about.
Are there any more points of discussion?
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Honk, honk.